This video is about the urinary system, its structures, and its functions. The urinary system's main job is excretion. That just means to get rid of waste. But it also helps to do some other things, regulate blood volume. You might remember that blood volume is related to blood pressure. As volume goes up, pressure goes up. It helps to regulate the pH of blood by getting rid of hydrogen ions. It can raise the pH, make it less acidic. It helps to regulate blood pressure and blood composition. That is, what is in the blood. Remember that blood vessels are named kind of in pairs. So renal artery, renal vein. The renal artery brings blood to the kidneys. The renal vein takes it away. Ureters take that filtrate, fill up the urinary bladder, and then the waste is excreted through the urethra. The kidney consists of a cortex and a medulla. The cortex is the outside thin layer. The medulla are all of the pyramids filled with nephrons on the inside of the kidney. The kidney is protected by fat, and that helps to keep it from being damaged. And its primary job is to act as a filter for the blood. So blood enters the kidney through the blood vessels. Those fluids diffuse across that membrane, and then the kidney filters out, based on the hormones, certain things. On top of the kidney, you'll recognize the adrenal gland. A nephron is the functional unit of the kidney, and your kidney consists of millions of these. This is the real workhorse of the kidney. The nephron consists of two major parts, the renal corpuscle and the renal tubule. The renal corpuscle acts kind of like a sieve. This is where the capillaries are diffusing fluids, and it's capturing those fluids in that first little pocket. Then those fluids, with all of their solutes, are going to move through that tube, and some things are going to be taken out, and some things are going to be added in. Dialysis is an artificial means of filtering. So if an individual's kidney is not working, then dialysis will help to filter some waste products out of the blood just by pure diffusion. It works similarly to a kidney, just not nearly as well as a kidney. So picture a sieve and a sink and a drain pipe. The sieve is the glomerulus, this cluster of capillaries where fluid is moving, diffusing out. Now, large things are being held back by the sieve, like proteins or large sugar molecules will be held back, but other things will slip through that filter and into the sink. That sink is the glomerulus. So as you dump your spaghetti water into the sieve, the spaghetti is held back, the sink fills up with water temporarily, and then it starts to move through that tube or that drain pipe, the tubule. That little trap in the drain pipe is kind of like the tubule. It keeps some things and it lets the rest go down the drain. So glomerular filtration is that first sieve part. Tubular reabsorption are things that are taken back into the body, and tubular secretion are things that are waste products. So this little diagram gives you an idea of what are some of the things that the body is recovering, what are some of the things that the body is secreting. All this is happening along that loop. You'll notice that water could be reabsorbed back into the body or excreted. Again, a lot of that depends on antidiuretic hormone. That sodium potassium levels are going to be controlled by aldosterone. That hydrogen ions are going to be excreted to the urea, which is going to make urine. So some things are kept, some things are not. But there should not be proteins in urine. There should not be sugar in urine. If so, then there's something wrong with the kidneys. So antidiuretic hormone, aldosterone, erythropoietin, these are all hormones that are associated with the kidneys. Antidiuretic hormone reabsorbs water. Aldosterone is going to regulate the sodium-potassium levels, and erythropoietin is going to target red bone marrow to make red blood cells. Coffee and tea are diuretics. So I kind of remember it this way: coffee and tea make you pee. So anti-diuretic is going to do the opposite. So rather than urinating, you're going to be retaining water. As that urine filters from the kidneys down the ureters into the urinary bladder starts to expand. That sends a message to your brain that says it's time to urinate. Now, urination requires two parts. Some is voluntary, some is involuntary. The voluntary part is controlling the sphincter muscle at the base of the urethra, so it's controlling when that flow of urine starts. But the urinary bladder itself contracting, you don't control that. That's involuntary. So that urinary bladder is contracting, moving that urine out. UTIs are urinary tract infections. So that's when a bacteria gets through the urethra and causes an infection. These are way more common in females, and it's because the urethra is much shorter in a female. Incontinence is also way more common in females because that urethra is so short. So incontinence means that they're urinating and they're losing control of that external sphincter. So sometimes someone laughs really hard and a little bit of urine leaks out, or pregnancy also makes it very difficult for that urinary sphincter to stay contracted. So that's urinary incontinence. Men typically have more problems with urinary retention. That is because the prostate gland swells and it pinches the urethra. It's harder to empty the bladder. Well, I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about the urinary system, some of the structures, and how they work.